rejected ever again. All right, y'all ready to go live? So right now you hear the commercial going on IBGR Network. So wherever you are watching this, welcome, and we're gonna get this done. Hopefully, all the connectivity will connect, right? And we'll be ready to go. Be a great show today. Steve is ready. And we will be launching in about a minute. Okay? So, you'll see in a little bit. You'll see my off screen. But I'm here. Okay? So, let's have a great show. Let's have some fun. Comments are welcome. I'm a little social media challenge, but we'll see what we can do. All right, here we go. And offers it to you in an easy way so you and your CRM are always up to date. Want to see this for yourself? At thesalesfair.com and get your free trial. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show is dedicated to my mother, Beverly Hodge. We lost her a year ago, but she's watching and she's listening today. Thank you for that moment of silence. And now, for Beverly Hodge, for Rudy Wilson, and for the rest of the world, are you ready? I said, are you ready? Then, you know what to do. Go ahead and say my name. Savvy. Let's go. That was awesome. Thank you, everyone. I am David Wilson, aka the Business Savage, and welcome to the No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show here on IBGR.network. IBGR.network, where business owners, we are profit radio. Hey, come grow with us. I know, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, first, before we get started, I want to, well, all right, let me move. So, radio, first, let me apologize. I apologize to all of the loyal radio listeners from last week because I was doing some stuff as though you could see me, right? And obviously, if you're on the radio, people on the radio can't see what I'm doing in the studio. Okay, so I apologize for that. That will not happen again. All right. As a result, and Steve, my in-studio engineer, brought that to my attention. as a result, for the people on the radio, I will tell you that written behind me, oops, getting word from, hang on one second. So written behind me says, I love Steve Euphemi. Steve Euphemi is my in-house engineer. So Steve, thank you very much. Thank you very much to Steve. Okay. So first off, let me thank all of our new listeners. So anybody who is new with us, welcome. All right. Now, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who is returning. So if you are a returning listener, God bless you. But if you're if you're a returning listener, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. So what is the No Nonsense Market Domination radio show? So what's this all about? So you're going to hear stories. You're going to laugh. You're going to get nuggets. You're going to get takeaways that you can use in your business, no matter what stage you're in. So you can be in startup mode. You can be in growth mode. You can be in, as they call it, hockey stick growth mode. So you're shooting through the moon and boom, and you're really, really grown, or you could be ready to exit. You could be ready to exit. So doesn't matter where you are. What matters is that you are. So you're in the right place. Let me tell you a little bit about IBGR. Hey, Steve, hand me the notes. Thank you, sir. All right. So we have something called the Entrepreneurs Community Network. So if you go to ibgr.network, you can connect with all the on-air talent. You can connect with folks like me, Business Savage. You can connect with all the other on-air talent, and it varies. It varies. The expertise is in so many different areas, from operations to sales to accounting to social media to marketing to networking to connecting, what have you. It doesn't matter. So that's what we bring to the table. We are trying to change the world one business at a time. And it is simple as that. So we are glad you are here. We are glad you are here. We are glad that you are joining us today. This particular show is available on podcast, so you can go to where you get your podcast, your favorite podcast provider. So podcast.co, Spotify, Amazon Music, and you can subscribe and download No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show as a podcast. Listen to past episodes, listen to future episodes, and you can listen live on IBGR Media. So IBGR has a Facebook page. IBGR has a YouTube channel, as do I. So you can listen to in all of those places live, and then go back to the podcast. See how that works? Go back to the podcast and see. I'm not a tech guy, but I get that. I get how that works. We also, hey, come on. We also have an app. So if you have an Android, if you have an Apple, go to your app store and download the IBGR app. IBGR app. Then you can listen on the go. You can listen while you're working out. You can listen while you're sitting by the fire pit. You can listen while you're sitting in your house. You can listen on the drive up, the drive home, the drive anywhere. So get your app and be ready. Okay. So in our show notes are available on the app. And according to my show notes, this first segment, as we wrap this up, is an introduction to savvy segments. Okay, well, so what are savvy segments? Hey, did you like that? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so savvy segments are segments of the show afterwards. So when the segment is over, you're going to get the nugget. So we're going to break this particular show. This is the first time we're doing it. We're going to break this particular show up into 3 savvy segments, giving you 3 nuggets to take with you. And that's how it works. So excuse me one second. So we're getting word from the home office that we are not connected. So we're going to keep going here, and we'll go to the break. We're going to get this fixed and see what is going on. But we're going to give you the 3 nuggets, and the first nugget that we're going to give you is differentiation. So we're going to talk about differentiation. The second is mindset. The third is push-ups. So push-ups, what is that about? Hard to say and not sure. Okay, so but you have to come back and you have to listen to figure that out. Okay, all right, we are live here, folks. So once again, you want to get your app. Make sure you get the app from IBGR at your favorite, on your favorite phone. So that is Apple or Android. And right now, I apologize, we are having technical difficulties on the radio side that we are going to do our very best to figure out. Okay, but just like business, we have to be nimble. We have to figure things out as we go. And that's what we are going to do. So we are going to reboot. And we are still live here, I believe. So we're going to go ahead. Hopefully we will be all set in segment 2, back on IBGR, the IBGR radio side, and we'll be ready to go. So right now, I am going to eyeball when we need to step away to go to break. You are listening to the No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show here with David Wilson, the Business Savage. And I am going to step away and see if we can get all of this resolved. So we will see you on the other side of the break. Thanks for watching, and we'll be right back. Savvy. We are back. We are back. Hey, listen, this is how it goes. Okay, it's just the way it is. It's live. It's live radio. It's live television. That's just the way it goes. But look, we're still here. We're still here. No problem at all. All right. So we made it back to the second segment. We gotta pick up the pieces a little bit and kind of pick up our pace. But that's okay. So we're back. Thanks for sticking with me. I am David Wilson, Business Savage. Welcome to the No Nonsense Market Domination radio show here on IBGR Network. Okay, let's jump right in to the first savvy segment, and that is differentiation. So what is differentiation? So differentiation essentially is, well, it's what makes you different. So it's what makes you different. Okay. And I think in the beginning, when we start businesses, the notion is, well, I want to be able to serve everyone, right? How many people, like I can hear you, right? But how many people, by show of hands, how many people just applaud from the beginning? Right. Okay, that's what I figured. And it's a fear. It's this fear that, oh my goodness, if we differentiate, if we compete on something other than price, we'll get to that in a second. If we compete on something other than price, we're going to lose. We're going to lose out on this huge number of people who want to buy from us. And that is that makes some sense short term, maybe some sense, but it's not sustainable. It's not a it is not a winning proposition most of the time. Okay, let's talk about a couple of examples. So one example that I was thinking about earlier was Dollar Tree. So Dollar Tree in the U.S. is a dollar store. So everything, for the most part, everything in Dollar Tree costs $1. Hence the name Dollar Tree. Okay, so everything in Dollar Tree costs $1. Now, this comparison is not quite parallel, but just walk with me on this, because frankly, I couldn't come up with a better one. Okay, so Dollar Tree. Let's put Dollar Tree over here, and over here, let's put Nordstrom's. So Nordstrom's is a high-end department store. Okay, high-end department store, but they sell clothes and shoes, and I think they still do, right? Steve, do they? Because Steve used to get Moose, his Moose from Nordstrom's. And what separate both companies have two different differentiators. So Nordstrom's is competing on luxury and quality, right? Luxury and quality. So when you walk into Nordstrom's, and I'm not a Nordstrom shopper, never have been. I have a cousin who used to go to Nordstrom's all the time, and I remember her telling me, "Oh yeah, they give you champagne when you go shopping. They give you champagne when you go shopping." So I used to try to go to Nordstrom's, but not buy anything, just to get the champagne, and that didn't last, because they tried to kick me out. And anyway, it's a long story, and it's painful. Versus Dollar Tree. So Dollar Tree, everything is $1. Okay, so when you walk into Nordstrom's, everything is different. When you walk into Dollar Tree, everything's the same, right? Everything is the same. Here's what I mean by that. The expectations are different when you walk into Nordstrom's than when you walk into Dollar Tree. So nobody returns like the broken spinner thing to Dollar Tree, because they know that when they go to Dollar Tree, it's $1. It doesn't matter. It is just $1. It's not worth it to go back. Whereas you get your red bottoms from Nordstrom's for $500, and you wear them for a year twice, right? This is a true story. This happened to me, not at Nordstrom's. When I was working selling women's shoes, this lady wore the shoes, wore them for 364 days, brought them back, and with a receipt, and said, I would like to have my money back. And I thought to myself, no, because you walked in the shoes. Long story short, they gave her money back. And the logic was, it costs them more to get that customer than it does to not refund the money and lose the customer. Dollar Tree doesn't worry about that. Does that make sense? So now let's back into the businesses that we're starting and the businesses that we are running, right? Dollar Tree knows that they're not going to get everybody coming to Dollar Tree, because everybody doesn't want that type of quality. So does Nordstrom. So Nordstrom knows that they're not going to get everybody. We need to know. So here's the takeaway. What is your differentiator? Can you afford to differentiate on price? Dollar Tree can, because they make up for it in what? Volume. They make up for it in volume. But are you able to make up for it in volume? You don't want to be commoditized in the market. It's much better to serve a niche or a niche. Or which is it? Steve, so Steve says niche. I probably say niche. Somebody else probably says niche. I have a cousin named Niche. Talk about that some other time. But you want to serve that specific market. What if you are the best at serving construction companies? So you do what you do for construction companies only. So now that's a vertical. Construction companies will come to you because of the work you do for other construction companies. Oh, no, that's wrong. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm missing out on business from these other, from staffing companies, from medical practices. But are you? Because guess what? When you can differentiate and you can step away from the rest of the competition and you stand out, guess what you can do? Guess what that affords you? You can charge more. You can charge more because you are a specialist in that field, the differentiator. So look at Nordstrom. You get a shirt like this in Nordstrom, it costs $1,700, and I'm probably not paying $1,700 for a white shirt. But I'm also not drinking champagne while I'm buying my white shirt. I'm also not being treated with concierge service while I'm buying my white shirt, and they know that. So they're not worried about me not going to Nordstrom's. Make sense? They're just worried about serving their customer. All right, guys, you got to see behind the scenes. It got real hectic in here real fast. But we got through it. Because that's what business owners do. That's what entrepreneurs do. And that's what you guys do every day. So we thank you for what you do for the business community. We are about to go to our second break. Let's see if I can not messing this up completely. And we're gonna go to break. Oh my goodness. Savvy. All right. Thanks for hanging with me. That happens. That happens. It was a crazy setting issue going on. We resolved it. We fixed it. And you guys got to see it. You guys got to see it live. Um, it's just the way it goes. The important thing is to just kind of keep your head about you. You've got to keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. Famous poem there. But we're back on track. So right now you hear the commercials. Um, you probably hear the commercials on the IBGR branded um, branded sites, but not on mine. Let's turn this down so you can hear me. But I think it's pretty cool to see what goes on, what happens behind the scenes, because it's not always like chutney gravy. You know what I mean? And this was not chutney gravy, I tell you. But back in business. All right, we're gonna go live in just about a second, just about 30 seconds actually, and we'll see in a little bit. All right, thank you, David Wilson, Business Savage. Welcome back to No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show here on IBGR.network. Profit Radio. You start and grow your business. Hey, come grow with us. You are definitely in the right place. So, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to move into segment 3, where we're going to talk about our next. This is our next savvy segment, and this segment is about mindset. It's about mindset. So it was a while back. This was probably this is 2020. So I would say it might have been in the 90s. In the late 90s, there was a lady by the name of Susan Jeffers, and Susan Jeffers wrote a book called "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway." Feel the fear and do it anyway. Susan Jeffers has passed on, but she left behind her works and in her book. In Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, she talks about something called a chatterbox. And the chatterbox is that voice. It's that voice in your head that talks to you. So we all have that voice in our heads that talks to us. And the big question is, what does that voice say? What is that voice saying to you now? What is that voice saying to you when you wake up, when you go to sleep, when you are getting ready to do that push up? We'll get to the push up in the last segment, what a push up is and how to identify that and what have you. But what is that voice saying in all of those scenarios? Does it matter? It absolutely, it absolutely matters. It absolutely matters. And what I took away from that was, and there's lots of quotes out there. Um, there's one, if whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I posted on All Things David Wilson Instagram. I think it was yesterday. So you can follow me there. You are who you think you are. You are who you think you are. And this is something that translates very well in business, because business, our biggest competitor oftentimes in business, most times, is ourselves. It's who we thought we were yesterday, what we think we deserve, what we think we don't deserve, what we think we're capable of, what we think we're not capable. It's all of that stuff balled up and sat on the table makes up how we walk in a particular day, how we walk in our business, how we walk in our lives. I'll give you a story. I'll give you a story about this. So that's a story music, I guess, Steve. Okay. So back in my wrestling days, and I remember this vividly, and this, I promise you, this will translate into business. So I was wrestling in New Jersey, and I was going up against a state champion. State champion. This was the semifinals of a tournament in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and this was a state champion from Elizabeth, New Jersey. So I was a junior. He was a senior. Is that relevant? Not terribly so, but looking back, so semifinals. I win this match, going to the finals to win the tournament. And we as entrepreneurs, this is a trap for us, because we often limit our thinking, right? And that's exactly what I did that day. So could I have beaten him? Well, let me tell the story. And I remember this like it was yesterday. Third period, I'm up 2-1 on the state champion. Now, mind you, it's in my head that he is a state champion. What was worse than it being in my head that he was a state champion? It was in my head that I was not. So I concluded that I was not supposed to win this match. Now, I just told you, I was up 2-1 in the third period. There was probably 30 seconds left in the third period. You know, I don't want to get into a whole bunch of wrestling vernacular that maybe some people who are not familiar with the sport don't understand. But, you know, he chose down. So if I hold him and like keep him on the mat and he can't get up and can't score for the entire period, I win. That's all I needed to do, to win that match. I had no cautions against me or anything, so I would have won the match. And I remember, I distinctly remember thinking to myself, I don't belong here. I'm not supposed to win this match. And the moment I thought that, he hit me with a switch that he had no business hitting me with. So a switch, he turned and came in behind me and got behind me. So now I'm on bottom and he's on top. He's behind me. And he scored 2 points and he won that match 3-2. Ended up winning the tournament. Here's the takeaway. Here's the mindset takeaway. And this is how strong the mind is. This is how strong the mind is. So thinking back, this was a long time ago, right? But thinking back, I think I got weaker as I thought about, my goodness, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. Now, the question is this: how many times during the day do you think to yourself, I don't belong here? You're getting ready to make that big sales call. I don't belong here. You're getting ready to close the biggest deal of your life. I don't belong here. Hey, you may be thinking about starting a business, but I don't belong here. That point in my life, and thankfully it happened to me very young, taught me everything I needed to know about business and a lot of what I need to know about life, because I learned from that, whoever you think you are, you are. Period. I'll tell you another quick story that has to do with mindset. A friend of mine that I was working with down in Texas, he was a professional basketball player, not in the NBA, right? He was a professional basketball player overseas. Okay, so he played, in the gyms with the wood seats that were outside, and there were a lot of people throwing like bottles and stuff. And like, this is true. This is what he told me, Gerald. And Gerald would tell me stories about the guys that are down there playing. So I was like, yeah, how many of these guys should be playing in the NBA? He said, most people who I play with, this is what he said, shouldn't even be playing here. and he was playing in places, he was playing in leagues all over the world, Croatia, Greece. I think he probably played in Argentina for a little bit. Here was the takeaway though. And he followed up with this. And he said, but every last one of them thought they were the best. And I thought about that and I was like, yeah, that's kind of the same. How many times do we achieve just by knowing like we know that we're going to get it done? And that's where we need to be. That's where we need to be as entrepreneurs. That's where we need to be as business owners. We have to know like we know we're going to get this done. And it is really that simple. And that's really the takeaway. The nugget: control your inner voice. Control your inner voice. It's very important that we, as Zig Ziglar said, we bathe every day. We bathe every day with motivation. We put good things into our heads. We put positive things into our heads so that we can be prepared for the radio going out, right? So that we can be prepared to come back from things like that. Okay, so we're gonna go to break. We'll be right back, and we'll finish up in the fourth segment. Savvy. All right. Awesome. Thank you guys for sticking with me and pushing through the challenges. So we're going to finish up with push-ups. Push-ups are going to be important. I don't want to give it away for you, but push-ups are the things that we need to be doing every day, kind of like when nobody's watching. So I don't want to. If I keep talking, I'm going to end up saying the same thing over again during the show. You see, that works when the show's not even on. I walk around with that. And when I do, I'll tell a dad joke, and I'll say something, and nobody else is around, and I'll just hit that, and it's just awesome. Anyhow, so I appreciate you guys supporting the Business Savage. I appreciate you guys supporting IBGR. Tell all the business owner friends you know. Doesn't matter what stage of business you're in. Get them here, and they can get something. Sarita, I appreciate that. It got real hot. It got real hot in the studio. But in business, it gets real hot. Yes. Yes, we are good. And then throughout, so when all that went down, it's like I'm getting bombarded with messages, trying to fix stuff and it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, but we got through it. We have great folks. Bill and Donna back in the main office as our engineers, listening, making sure everything sounds good, making sure everything looks good. So we're all working towards the same goal, and it's awesome. So we're a team here. We want you guys to be part of the team. And we invite you to come to ibgr.network. All right, here's my cue. I got to step out. I'll be right back, and we will finish up. Good. That's bad. That's bad. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. No, that's good. All right, David Wilson, aka Business Savage. Welcome back to the No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show here on IBGR Network. Come grow with us. This is a network of entrepreneurs. We help businesses all over the world start, grow, and exit. We have a team here of on-air talent. You can go to our community at ibgr.network. You can get our app on Android, and you can get our app on Apple. And come join us. Ask us questions. Tap into our knowledge. And we're here to give. We are here to give to you guys because we want to make the world a better place by improving as many businesses as we can. And that's what we do. So thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I humbly thank you for watching, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Okay, No Nonsense Market Domination Radio Show. We're going to move into our last segment where we give you your last nugget. You ready, Steve? All right, Steve is ready for the last nugget, and the last nugget, push-ups. Okay, so probably everybody knows, what a push-up is. There's variations of push-ups, but in the context of business, so one of my favorite sayings, and I'm gonna say this again. I'm sorry, but it's one of my favorite sayings, and I, in fact, did come up with this. So if you're gonna use it like in a meme or something, just make sure you like put my name on it or something, and give me a little bit of credit. I don't look for credit very much, but this one, like, it's not like, oh, you are what you are, which I didn't come up with that, but this I came up with, and it is push-ups don't do themselves. Push-ups don't do themselves. Here's what push-ups are. And by the time we're done with this segment, I want you to, the takeaway is going to be identify what your push-ups are. Not identify what push-ups are, but identify what your push-ups are. Okay? Push-ups are the things you do in between the success that people see. Does that make sense? It's the things you do in between the success that people see. Let me explain. Okay, so they see you, you haven't seen your cousin in 5 years, and you pull up in a fancy car. They find out you bought a house. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I can see that. Well, some people are lucky. Oh, you looks like a luck hit. And it's like, no. You weren't around to see me do my push-ups. So from a business growth standpoint, a lot of us out there are solopreneurs. A lot of us out there, we work for ourselves, but it's only us, right? It's only us. And the push-ups, one type of push-up that we need to be doing when nobody's watching is what? Looking for business, prospecting. Now, that's going to mean different things to different people. We're in a time now where going outside is in some places that's illegal, but in some places, most places, it's a challenge. So it used to be our push-ups were going and knocking on doors, right? And meeting businesses and talking to business owners and seeing, how can I help you? Do you need this? Asking questions. Now, push-ups are a lot of our push-ups are electronic. They are connecting people to people and people to solutions online. So a lot of people using Facebook, a lot of people using LinkedIn to make connections for themselves and for others, to connect people, to make things happen. These are the push-ups that we should be doing behind the scenes. These are the push-ups that we have to do behind the scenes. Before I forget, if you are interested in learning more on how to connect during these times where we're not really seeing a lot of people in person, we're pretty much all virtual, check out www.thenorejectionconnection.com. So that is my digital product showing you how to connect anybody to anybody, anywhere, for any reason, without the fear of rejection, right? So if that's something you're interested in, go check that out. There's some freebies there for you, for the IBGR community and our listeners. So go check that out. Now, the takeaway. So the takeaway is we need to identify the things we need to be doing. So what is our push-up? If our push-up is prospecting, our push-up might be sending out emails. It might be going to virtual meetings, whatever, but it could be all of them, right? But we have to make sure we, number one, identify what those push-ups are, and number two, figure out how many push-ups we need to do. Now, how do we do that? How do we figure out how many push-ups we need to do? Well, figure out the value of each push-up. Okay? But how do we do that? So you may be thinking to yourself, well, wait a second. Every time I do a push-up, so if you're telling me, Savvy, that I'm supposed to be doing these push-ups, and one push-up, let's say, equals one message to a prospect, I don't understand, because I'm not getting paid for that push-up. Now, let's back up into segment 2. So the nugget before this nugget, right, was what? Mindset. And this is a huge takeaway when it comes to doing your push-ups. So I could drop down here right now and do 50 push-ups like that. It's true. I really could. I'm not gonna, because I already lost a whole bunch of time in the beginning of the show when the lights went out. Okay. But let's say I did that. Mindset now. We have to make sure we understand that the push-ups we do today are not for today. The push-ups we do today are not for tomorrow. They're probably not for next week. Let's go back to wrestling. So let's take match A on day 1 and then match B on day 30. All right? Two wrestlers wrestle on day 1, 2 wrestlers wrestle on day 30. One wrestler is doing his or her push-ups, one wrestler is not. Come day 30, the mat will not lie. The mat always tells the truth. Okay? Does that make sense? So in our businesses, we are not doing our push-ups for the push-ups we do after that match on day 1 are not for day 2. They're for day 30. So the mindset shift has to be push-ups are just part of the routine. They don't do themselves. You know what? I'm not going to do my push-ups today. That's fine. You don't have to. But someone is. And you can't go back in time and do push-ups. Okay? You may only get one shot to prove that you have done your push-ups. And if you're not prepared for that big time when the spotlight is on and you need to work through some stuff and you need to figure it out and you need to be nimble and you need to push forward no matter what, we will know if you've been doing your push-ups. Those of us who do our push-ups push through that stuff. Those of us who don't, it's just they get shaken out. It is that they self-select out. And it is that simple. They self-select out. The beauty of you guys listening today is you're here. You're here. Now you know you can identify your push-ups and you're going to do your push-ups every day. That's your takeaway. Figure out what your push-ups are and do them every day no matter what. Whether you feel like it or not, whether you want to or not, because you can see the end of the road. You can see the goal. Like I see the goal. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. So we are to the end of our show. I thank you very much for joining us here on IBGR Radio, IBGR Network. I am David Wilson, aka the Business Savage. Thank you for joining us. Also, I just want to say one more time, um, this show is dedicated to Beverly Hodge. If you guys didn't hear that on the radio because we were out, that's my mom. We lost her a year ago. That's for you. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Savvy, thank you. All right. Beat is dope, right? Hopefully, no, we're good with that one. Got censored, so I had on the back here, censor me, please. We have an awesome team at IBGR, and I just want to give a shout out. I'm still on, I believe, everywhere, not the radio. Let me make sure I'm off here. So I want to give a big shout out to Bill and Donna, who are back in the studio. Um, and I don't want to minimize what happened during that first segment, because it's live radio. This is live, so there's the worst thing you can possibly have. There's one thing you don't want on the radio, and that is dead air. And it's like panic mode when, oh my gosh, we're not connected. What do? We got to get something on. We got to get something up. And I just want to thank Bill and Donna back at the studio, because we had to fight through that. I figured it out, and I'll share this with the team on Saturday. There was a setting that was amiss, and I recognize it. It won't happen again. Not that way. It won't happen again. So I know why I know that it happened. I don't know why it happened. So what I'll make sure I do is go in and check beforehand. And looking back, I could have known that was going to be a challenge. But you don't drive a car while looking through the rearview mirror, right? So we just keep moving forward, and that's what we do. So we learn from it. There's a lesson in every experience, and we learned it. So the whole world learned it with us and experienced it with us, but that's okay. The big takeaway from this, as for those of you who are still watching, who are in business, who are going through challenges, who are trying to find a way, and that's it. Just find a way, figure it out. Sometimes life is going to toss you a whole bunch of what I was going to say, a whole bunch of pebbles. Life is going to toss you a whole bunch of pebbles. It's up to us to make a driveway out of it, right? That's stupid. That's real dumb. But nimble, because I came up with that, and I had my soundboard. So if nobody else thought it was funny, I thought it was funny. Right? Guys, thank you very much. We will do this again next week. Thanks for watching. Make sure you go to allthingsdavidwilson.com. Allthingsdavidwilson.com. You can like, follow, and share all my stuff. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. It's all there. Make sure you like and follow IBGR's media. IBGR on Facebook, IBGR on YouTube. You can download and listen to podcasts where you get your podcast. That's at podcasts. We post at podcast.co. So if you get your podcast there, you can get them there. You can also go to Spotify. Excuse me. You can also go to Amazon Music, what have you. Also, if you're interested, the NoRejectionConnection.com. Check that out to help you connect anyone to anyone, anywhere, for any reason, without the fear of rejection. And IHateNetworkingEvents.com. So let me disconnect, make sure no one else is trying to get on, at least disconnect from IBGR. Can I do that? Yes. Okay, IBGR, we're gonna sign off. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. I think I can do that. Edit. Nope, I sure can't. Gotta end everywhere. Okay, that's cool. I'm done running my mouth. Steve, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I appreciate you also. And we'll see you next time.